Hey folks, welcome back to Grand Adventure. I'm your host, Mark Guido, and here in episode 77, we're deep in the Mojave Desert visiting Death Valley National Park. It is a totally moving experience. It's utterly fantastic. Okay, you can stick around. I promise I'll knock it off. Now, it's called the Big Bovine of the Desert. I get the name, I'm just unable to explain its relevance out here at the Longstreet Inn Casino in the middle of the Mojave Desert. At least I can show you their RV park. This is a truly desolate stretch of desert along the Nevada-California border. Nevertheless, like most barren deserts, this one does hold a surprise or two. And best of all, it's all situated right outside the gate of Death Valley National Park, the hottest, lowest, and one of the driest points in all of North America. Our first stop within the national park is Dante's View. It affords a commanding view with the surrounding Funeral Mountains and Badwater Basin, the lowest point in the Western Hemisphere. Now, it's important for RVers to note that the road up to Dante's View does have a restriction on vehicles over 25 feet, trailers, or any kind of vehicle combination. There is, however, a trailer drop-off lot about halfway up the road to Dante's View. Another stop on our way to the depths of Death Valley is 20 Mule Team Canyon. Do any of you recall the 20 Mule Team borax product? Like this canyon, it was named for the mule teams used to move giant wagons of borax, much of which was mined here in the 1880s, from Death Valley to the nearest rail spur. This 2.5-mile, one-way loop wanders through the canyon on a tight dirt road. And if you're a Star Wars fan, scenes around Jabba the Hutt's palace in Return of the Jedi were filmed here. Now, for what it's worth, 20 Mule Team Canyon is another place you won't be bringing your trailer. Now, we didn't go in ourselves, but if you're traveling without an RV, the oasis of Death Valley looks to be a fine place to stay right within the national park. This is why I gassed up in Pahrump, where I paid $2.87 a gallon. Now, we're here at the end of October. It's a great time to visit Death Valley because we've got temperatures of 96, not 126. That actually might be overstating it a little bit. Truck says 88. Either way, it's toasty, but it's not oppressive. And there are walk-up spaces available right in the National Park campground at Furnace Creek. And unlike most National Park campgrounds, this one features full hookups so you can keep your AC running. love just about all of nature, rugged mountains, bubbling rivers, placid lakes, but there's just something special about the desert. It may at first appear stark and barren, but if you look hard enough, you can find life everywhere. Each desert of the American Southwest is different. Southern Utah's red rock cliffs are dramatically different from the ocotillo plants and the saguaro cacti of the Sonoran Desert in southern Arizona. This part of the Mojave is different from both of them. While some of the hills are a golden color, or even, oddly enough, a metallic green, the floor of Death Valley is just plain brown. There's not much that grows here, but again, if you look hard enough, you can find signs everywhere of life that has adapted to survive in this harsh climate. So welcome to Badwater Basin, which at 282 feet below sea level is the lowest point in the Western Hemisphere. That was pretty cool. I've seen an awful lot of desert, but I don't think I've ever seen a more desolate area in my life. It's almost like being on another planet. This is Artist Drive, just off the road to Badwater Basin. It's another one-way trip, but this one is paved and leads to Artist Palette, an area on the face of the Black Mountains noted for a variety of rock colors. These colors are caused by the oxidation of different metals in the soil. Iron compounds produce red, pink, and yellow, while decomposition of tuff-derived mica produces green, and manganese produces purple. And on the way back to our camp, just outside the national park in Nevada, is the ghost town of Rhyolite. Rhyolite enjoyed only a very short lifespan. Gold was discovered here in 1904, and by 1905 a boomtown sprung up out here in the middle of the Mojave Desert. By 1910, though, only 5 years later, the mines played out, and so did Rhyolite. Now, I said earlier that you can often find surprising and often bizarre things in the desert, and Rhyolite is no exception. Now, not far from Rhyolite, we found a few desert locals just casually walking down the side of the road. I encountered a much bigger surprise in the nearby town of Beatty, where a number of these locals were just hanging out at the local dollar store, begging for a handout. They're usually rather skittish, but these wild burros were shockingly tame.
Cookies.
They
like
will.
oatmeal cookies. That's what you feed them. The baby will come over from land where they say they're picking up the donkeys because there's not enough for the horses to eat out there. But there's plenty. The desert's never been so green as it is now. I lived out here 40 years ago.
Johnny, you said two of these come to your house every morning, huh?
Yeah, 10 o'clock, those two, the brown one and the gray mama who's right behind you. These two.
And tell me about her nose. What happened to her nose?
She got bit by a male and it flopped it down on her. I put it up, washed her face with a washcloth, and I put Neosporin on it.
Yep.
I did that like for 4 days, and she healed up pretty fast.
I just can't get over how tame they are. It's crazy.
Yeah, now, according to the BLM land, a burro is a wild animal, a donkey is a tame one. It's the same goddamn animal.
So I guess these would be donkeys, huh?
Yeah.
According to the BLM, anyway. And with that wonderful experience in Beatty and the sun setting across the Nevada desert, it's time to get back to camp and get a good night's sleep for another big day ahead in Death Valley. So while we're visiting Death Valley National Park, we are staying at the Nevada Treasure RV Resort in Pahrump, which is a relatively easy drive to the national park. All things considered, like I said, things are awfully far apart here. Our regular viewers may be wondering why we're not boondocking, why we're staying in an RV park. Well, it's about a 500-mile drive to get here from Salt Lake City, and that took virtually all day on Sunday. We didn't roll into town until dusk, almost nightfall. I didn't feel like trying to find a good boondocking spot in the dark. That's never advisable. And because we're only here for 3 days, I really didn't feel like moving. Now, we could have gotten a full hookup site within the national park at Furnace Creek. They did have some walk-ups available, but I wouldn't have known that until I got there, and I really don't see much point in moving. Now, this place really does deserve the resort moniker. It is truly an RV resort. The facilities are absolutely drop-dead gorgeous. They have this beautiful 2-tiered pool and jacuzzi area, complete with a tiki bar. The reception area right off of that, they have their own bar and grill. The laundry facilities are quite adequate. There are no bathroom facilities scattered about the park because they do expect you to have a self-contained RV. Now, the sites, not quite so wonderful. They are awfully close together. There's no vegetation to give you any privacy between the sites. Fortunately, we've had virtually this entire row to ourselves throughout the stay, so I haven't had anybody on either side of me. However, lacking even any grass between the sites, it's kind of been a hassle with the dogs. I need to walk them all the way down to a relatively small enclosed dog walk area for them to do their business. The other thing that's kind of weird is where they have the sewer hookups. They're way behind the trailer. My main dump valves, my main black and my main gray, my hose does reach, but it's a stretch. Now, I do have a second gray tank for the kitchen that's about 2/3 of the way forward on my trailer. And even though it's only a 26-foot trailer, even with an extension, it's awfully hard for me to reach that sewer outlet. That said, I would definitely stay here again. It was $44 a night, which I think was pretty reasonable considering the amenities provided. I don't see any reason why I wouldn't stay here again. It's a nice place. Nevada may well be the only place where a dead pimp can run for elected office and actually win. I'm stopping for gas at the Area 51 Alien Center in the remote outpost of Amargosa Valley, which is part of the late Dennis Hoff's empire. Here you can not only gas up, but you can also get yourself a snack or an alien magnet or shot glass in the store. And you can even get, well, let's call it an oil change. Just to make it clear, I only got gas. We're going to take a 4x4 trip on the Titus Canyon Road. It's one of Death Valley National Park's backcountry routes. A 27-mile, one-way westbound route up and over Red Pass to the mining ghost town of Leadfield. Although the initial stretch is easy graded road, once the road starts climbing into the Funeral Mountains, a high-clearance four-wheel drive vehicle is a necessity. This is also not a route for those with a fear of narrow roads and big unprotected drop-offs. Leadfield enjoyed an even shorter lifespan than Rhyolite. The town's post office closed only 6 months after it first opened. West of Leadfield, the Titus Canyon Road enters a broad wash, and the drive becomes much easier. There are even ancient petroglyphs to find on the canyon walls right alongside the road. Towards the end, though, the wash tightens. This is just too cool. It's nearly like being able to drive down a slot canyon. It's no wonder that the Park Service restricts this road to one-way travel, although we encountered a couple of folks who clearly can't read road signs. They also say that this is one of the park's most popular backcountry routes, so you shouldn't expect solitude. But we've only encountered one other vehicle in the whole 27 miles, at least only one going in the proper direction. Eventually, the canyon opens back up, and we're right back in Death Valley. one thing that I've really come to appreciate very quickly about Death Valley National Park is how easy it is to get away from people. Right now we're at the racetrack, which is a playa or a dried lake bed, about 26 miles down a relatively rough and rocky single-lane dirt road. In that entire 26 miles, I've seen 3 vehicles, and that includes a Ranger truck. Now, the playa is home to one of the more unique phenomena in a land here that's full of bizarre phenomena, and that is the sailing stones. Now, the story behind the sailing stones was kind of a mystery until about 4 or 5 years ago, when scientists set up a test and finally figured it out. What happens is there's a little bit of water on the playa, and it freezes into thin ice sheets overnight. These ice sheets surround rocks that are left in the dry lake bed after a rainstorm. When the morning comes and the ice sheets start to melt and a breeze starts to blow the ice sheets, they start to move and push the rocks with them. And they leave these bizarre tracks in the bed of the playa. Many years after first hearing about these mysterious sailing stones, it's really special to finally get to see these tracks for myself. So we really hope that you've enjoyed traveling with us to Death Valley National Park. We're going to get ready to head off to the destination for our next episode, which is Lake Havasu, Arizona. So if you're not yet one of our grand adventurers, hit that subscribe button and ring that notification bell. If you like this video, we'd really appreciate you giving us a thumbs up down below. And also down below, we always love to hear from you in the comments section. Until next time, please remember, life is nothing but a grand adventure. We'll see you soon.